This is a real jewel, Nerac. The wife of that famous king who gave France the Poule pot came from here. I like to think of Henry IV as a good Gascon boy, because he really liked his garlic. This story, when he arrived in Paris to become King Henry IV, his bride-to-be, Marguerite de Valois, on several occasions would not share his bedchamber because he stank of garlic so much. And I think of him as a man with a common-sense attitude to food. He wanted all his subjects to eat chicken at least once a week on Sundays, and the most famous of those dishes was Poule au pot, or Henry IV chicken. Very nutritious, lots of vegetables, low in fat, would feed a family for a couple of days at least. We need dishes like that now, for goodness sake. In this world of fast food, too much fat, too much sugar, Poule au pot, that's the thing. The important thing is a good stock with all the usual suspects, plus whole garlic and belly pork. First of all, let us remove the head and neck. That, of course, can go into the stock pot, but the giblets I'm going to use to make a lovely stuffing for my Poule au pot. So, after chopping up the giblets, you take some breadcrumbs, chopped shallot, parsley, garlic, ham and bacon, bound together with a couple of eggs. Sometimes the stuffing is more delicious than the expensive meat it's supposed to accompany. It needs to be seasoned generously, and talking of flavour, don't forget the head and neck. Waste not, want not. Put that force meat into the cavity of the chicken. Let's face it, this is not the sort of dish you're going to do when you come home from work of an evening. You need to spend time enjoying every part of the process, even the fiddly bit of tying up the chicken so all the precious filling doesn't fall out into the stock. Remember, in the days of Henry IV, nobody had an oven, so everything was cooked on top of the fire in a pot, hence Poule au pot. Simmer for 40 minutes, and after that take out those vegetables and chicken head that were used purely for flavouring the stock. And even in those days, Henry knew the miraculous benefits of chicken soup. Put the chicken back in, followed by some fresh vegetables, crunchy cabbage, leeks, fennel, in fact anything you've got to hand. A recipe should be a tune to which you can sing your own song. There's a special sauce to accompany this, sauce gribiche, and I think it's what makes it really French and lifts it from being a simple chicken stew to a gourmet meal. The whole thing is made with Dijon mustard, a splash of white wine vinegar. I'm using olive oil, capers and some chopped up cornichons, or gherkins as we call them. Now here's an interesting twist. Add some chopped hard-boiled egg, then flat leaf parsley and more vinegar and olive oil to loosen it up. You've got to be able to almost pour it off the spoon because you're going to drizzle it all over the finished dish. Once that's ready, season it generously because it must have a bit of a kick and it's ready to go. Joint the chicken into peasanty chunks. I've got a friend who objects to the word peasanty when describing food. But in this case, it's perfectly legitimate, because that's exactly what it was designed to do, to feed the poor people of the land. Incidentally, this stuffing is really good, almost like a pâté. We call it force meat, and the French call it farce, which means to pad something out. Chop up that belly pork. With those vegetables, one chicken feeds 6 people, no problem. This is hearth food. This is the sort of stuff that, you can think of some peasant's cottage and go in there, you walk in there and there's lovely smells of chicken and vegetables and broth all simmering away together. I mean, we've lost the sort of enthusiasm for dishes like this. But in the last series I did a dish of corned beef with cabbage, and it was singly the most popular dish that I did. And I just feel that's the same with this one. It's just so sort of elemental and really the sort of thing that people yearn to eat.